dudes that partake in those like very effeminate TikTok dances, they get so much attention and traction. It's crazy and it's super feminized. TikTok is the most TikTok is the social media platform that is strongly pushing the feminization of men
And more than any other.
more than any other one.
Right.
It's
Now
crazy.
this is why I'm actually, this is something that's coming up pretty recently. I think the CEO of TikTok is being brought up in front of Congress in the next week or so.
Because they're trying to ban it.
That they're
Right?
going to ban. I mean, they've already banned it off. So, and if you work anywhere high level like government to like maybe high level post office and stuff, you're not allowed to have TikTok on your phone or ever downloaded it at all. Or if you do, you had to get rid of that phone and get a brand new phone for work and stuff like that. I'm for banning TikTok anyway. I mean, I'm just, I'm very anti, Chinese government, not Chinese people, Chinese government.
Yes.
And bro, like they're encouraging a bunch of dumb shit. Like, I mean, it's Tide Pod challenge, the NyQuil challenge. I mean, come on.
Adam Curry says he thinks that the idea that it's China censorship working its way into every American kid's cell phone is a bullshit escape route to get around the fact that Facebook and Instagram and everybody is failing to compete, and that Silicon Valley wants to just like, dude, fuck it, all the money is there, get them the fuck out of there. Like, fucking just find a way to ban it.
TikTok is America's brainwash from not delusion by being diluted. If you ever, dude, especially if you've ever seen like younger kids interact with TikTok, how like they like lull and like lock into this platform. It just dilutes the brain, just the patterns and the way the time like attention span.
Yeah, and
attention span is just brutally just gets destroyed.
The shorts are terribly like we have to make shorts now because I mean, this is just the game, the YouTube game. You have to make shorts, you have to make clips. But let me tell you this, like they've hurt my brain because I've had to watch shorts and clips and stuff because it's everywhere on YouTube, right? You can just watch one, like you're on Instagram and you click an Instagram video. Oh, that was funny. You scroll up and there's another video. And there's another video.
It's part of your business. You got to have your guy make about 15 clips out of this. We've been rolling for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's part of our business. So you got to study it a little bit.
But what's of course you got to study it. But what's going on is that these shorts are hurting our attention. Even my attention span was to listen to 4-hour podcasts. Like I started off like listening to Joe Rogan's podcast when it just came out and would listen to 3-4 hour podcasts, 2-hour like really intense fucking like financial podcast. Like it was just listening to these long form content sort of things, 4 or 5 hours, super high attention span. And now it's getting to the point now where like even my attention span is being hurt now.
Yeah.
And I've noticed it being hurt where like if like I'm listening to like a 15 or 30 minute video on a 10 minutes and I'm like, ugh, next.
Yeah, because they went from the full podcast to clips with their 15-20 minutes and now to these reels. It's the only time where you'll ever be on a social media platform and you'll start consuming it. And then before you know it, you're like, holy shit, it's been like 2 hours.
Yeah.
The point that I think most people will always take for granted is the point about pornography, because Rolo made a great point of that.
Yeah.
But you can't really feel it when he says it, that you can never really feel that argument. As like I was talking about earlier in the car about we take things for granted. We really take things for granted because we can accept the talking point, but we can't truly feel the repercussions of it unless you like literally you might have to go eat some mushrooms and sit in a field to fully really walk yourself through how dramatic it is that you used to have to make the conscious decision. I am going to sit at the home and jerk off, but first I have to get up, I have to get dressed, I have to make sure I have a couple bucks in my pocket, I have to go out in public and purchase pornography, then take it home. And that's in a way at least the minor incentive to think, am I really going to do all that, or should I just go fucking do something with myself that's productive? But we carry around the trip to the dirty bookstore in our pockets at all times. It's so dramatic, but you really got to like sit in almost deep stoner thoughts and play that out to realize how dramatic it is. When it's just said, I feel like it's so that point is never really taken in the way it should be.
Because like not only that, but like every other form of media is like at our fingertips. It's like
as well.
It's like when you say like we have the Library of Alexandria for everybody, right? It's like the internet is a fucking amazing tool, right? But so like people sometimes, like you say, kind of fail to comprehend that.
Yeah, but some of our bad vices that were some of our worse vices that we needed to actually like go out and seek it
right
in a way that was a little bit more time consuming was sort of like a benefit in a way. Now it's just there, and it's free. You don't have to purchase it.
No, because the internet's an amazing tool when you use it as a tool. There's so many people out there that will only ever use the internet to consume, and that's the problem.
It is for sedation,
Well,
and TikTok and OnlyFans is in there too.
See, that's where it goes back to why does this show exist, right? Because it's a problem for those people. It's not a problem for the people making money off of it, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
No, no.
The high elves. Anyway.
Whenever you see men behaving conventionally feminine, that's when the media decides to celebrate it. But yet when a guy is acting in a conventionally masculine way, we do not celebrate that, and we find some way to demonize that.
And what's conventionally masculine?
Men are, by and large, in a general sense, 99.9% larger, more muscular, more physically adept than women are. So we can look at what are the traits that are associated with that. But, you know, determinism, determination.
How are men more determined than women?
Mentally speaking, if you look at the differences, the genetic differences between men and women, men tend to be more interested in things. Women tend to be more interested in people. Women tend to be in the social fields. Men tend to be in the more mechanical fields. So if there's a conventional masculinity, it's related to the way that our brains are structured. It doesn't have anything to do with social constructionism.
Yeah. Well, when we come back, we're going to meet a father who says men have been left behind. We'll be right back.
Look at his somber face. That's that face I'm talking about. I hate that kind of frame.
Dude, but that's the concern that they want the old lady watching the show
to feel.
You know?
The living expression of the concerned father. And he wrote a book about masculinity, but he can't even have a masculine frame. It's just like, oh, it's like the well-being of the children has to be written on my face.
Again, who's he selling to?
Wait, no, that's the benefit of it. I get it.
New Dr. Phil.
My daughter is addicted to social media.
His teenage son shot him and then killed his mother because they took away the violent video game Daniel was addicted to.
That's an upcoming one. That's an upcoming one.
Video games are going to kill your children.
God, that's some shit they've been pushing for 20 fucking years.
Yep. Or maybe now you could just have a child that's born with mental problems.
Yeah.
Or you're just a shitty parent.
Yeah.
That you just put them in front of the fucking screen and didn't have any. Yeah.
Anyway,
I have had opportunities to cheat for pretty much my entire marriage. The healthiest way to have a good marriage is to have opportunity, but she gives you no reason. And so she takes care of you. Now, there's a lot of other guys who are in the same boat, right? They are with a woman who takes care of them, even though they have the opportunity to cheat. Those guys, the women that they're with, realize that that guy is the kind of guy that other men want to be and other women want to. And so as there's that hindbrain realization of that, prompts behavior on the part of that woman to say, you know what, he's a good dog, but I got to pet him to keep him on the porch.
Again, they took the best from his podcast.
They're more worried about their sons becoming successful adults than their daughters. So what's troubling young men today? Now, I brought together some people who presume to know about this because they spent time looking into it.
Okay.
Richard Reeves is a senior fellow at the Brookings Institute and wrote the book of Boys and Men, Why the Modern Male is Struggling, Why It Matters, and What to Do About It. Now, Marilyn York is a men's rights attorney. And Imran Ahmed is the CEO and the founder of the Center for Countering Digital Hate. So thanks to all three of you for joining the conversation.
Of course, he's got the biggest smile.
That's me.
The YouTube exec.
Yeah.
Well, notice how they don't say he's part of
You've been listening
YouTube.
so far. What do you have to add to the conversation before I ask you any specific questions?
Anytime a man tries to interpret a woman, it's embarrassing. And anytime we try to interpret a man, it's embarrassing. Like, we need to stay in our lane a little bit more. When I hear a man telling me what I want as a woman, there's just some misconceptions being thrown about as though the generalities are true. And we're missing a huge component of relationships that's a really important one, and that's intimacy. We're talking all about prestige, and relationships have two components at their very base: intimacy and prestige. And every relationship at its core is a mix of the two. Even take the super old rich guy and the super young hot girl, there is a component of intimacy to their relationship that works for them. In addition to the prestige that comes with his success and his monetary gain and her beautiful body and her youth. And so I feel like we're missing it, and we're doing a disservice to both genders.
Well,
and the other thing is, it always feels
like a lot of cultures in the world that are okay with that. you know, but it's like, it to me, like when you go outside of America and you're like, see like, you know, old dudes with young women, there's a lot of countries that are like, sure, whatever. But like when you do that here in America, like people, like I think it's like a lot of the times just like the older women that like they hate the competition of the younger ones, and they're just like, oh, that's terrible, and they demonize it so much that people are afraid, like, oh shit, can I do that? Should I be able to do that? It's like, yeah, people do it all the time.
I was gonna say it's not intimacy and prestige together like this. It's more like prestige is the ground that the intimacy is built on. Without the prestige, there is no room for intimacy. There's no room like, for that kind of desire for a man from the woman's perspective.
Right. It's kind of like what you said before about like, you know, when people are doing the things with the privacy of their bedroom, like who cares, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing here. It's like, you know, there's people, it's like kind of live and let live type thing in a lot of places around the world. But like, whereas they just harp on it here as like, it's the worst thing ever. And is it great? There's aspects of it that absolutely aren't, but like, does it work for them? Cool. Live and let live. It's just one of these things where it's like all these people in society just telling each other how to live so much that like everybody's just yelling at each other. It's like, what's the point? You know,
that's a great point.
So stupid.
And it also seems I agree with your point, Charlie, because I think on the other side too is like they're also mad because they don't compete as well. So like an older man competes much